Ciryl Gane, Jon Jones, Ngannou's left. Where should we start? Should we start with Ngannou leaving?
Yeah.
We'll start with Ngannou leaving. So Ngannou's left, which is a shame. It's a shame. I don't know him too well. I've had a few interactions with him. I've always found him to be a decent person. A good guy. Hell of a fighter, of course, heavyweight, undisputed champion. Catches everybody's imagination with that insane knockout power. And it's a shame he's not going to be in the UFC. I get it, because he wants to be able to fight elsewhere and do his own thing. And one's got to think that the main thing that's driving that is this boxing fight with Tyson Fury. After one of Fury's fights, I forget which one it was, Ngannou was there, and he was like, have you got a big Corey? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, have you got a big Corey and all the rest of it? Yeah. So you can't blame Francis, because he might make 10, 15 million in that fight against the Tyson Fury. But it's not guaranteed to happen, though. It's just because that moment happened. There's been many fights and lots of promotion. It's not guaranteed to happen. I hope it does for his sake, and I would love to see it. Fury versus Ngannou. I really, really would. What a spectacle that would be. It'd be like Thunder Lips versus Rocky. Have you seen that, Anthony?
No.
Of course not. Rocky 1 or Rocky 2? When Hulk Hogan fights Sylvester Stallone. You never seen that?
I don't think so. I've seen the Rocky movies, but I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a bit where Thunder Lips. That's who Hulk Hogan plays, Thunder Lips. But still, it'd be crazy. Muhammad Ali did it as well, didn't he? Muhammad Ali, I think he fought a guy back in the day, like a judo guy or something like that. But regardless, what are your thoughts?
Inoki, he was a Japanese professional.
Oh, it was like a mixed rules fight, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. There's Thunder Lips getting choked up by Sylvester. Nice work, Brian. Nice work. Yeah. Anthony, your thoughts, my friend?
I don't mean to burst everybody's bubble, and I know that I'm going to get the same shit we get all the time. We're company men. We're just shills. We're just mouthpieces for the UFC. I never have understood this Francis Ngannou thing. I am pro fighter. I want all the fighters to make as much money as they possibly can. Like,
amen to that.
I want you to dig deep in Uncle Dana's pockets as deep as you can. That's what I want. But I'm realistic. And I understand the sport and the business of the sport. If Francis, just say he gets the Tyson Fury fight, we know how that's going to go. But as analysts, there's not a world where Francis Ngannou beats Tyson Fury. Like, Francis Ngannou is just a regular dude as a heavyweight boxer. He's uncommon in MMA. He's unique. He's very special. But in professional boxing, he's average at best. And at best, he's an average puncher. He's a below average boxer. He's below average in his footwork and movement. He's below average in his defense. He's not going to fare that well as a heavyweight professional boxer. So because he has a fantastic name and an incredible highlight reel in MMA, he's going to get a big fight for sure, but probably just one. And is he going to go somewhere else in MMA and make as much money as he would make getting pay-per-view revenue and being behind the promotional monster that the UFC is? I don't think so.
Where's he going to go? Bellator?
Okay, even if Bellator was going to pay him more, maybe once, but where's I don't care what anybody says. It's all about compelling matchups. That's what sells fights. There's maybe one or two guys out there outside of the UFC on the MMA side that are compelling matchups, and they don't have the promotional push that the UFC has. They don't have the grip and the handhold on the market like the UFC has,
or the pay-per-view revenue,
or the pay-per-view revenue. I mean? Even the PFL, like, even if they do go down this pay-per-view route, you still need a dance partner. You need someone that's as compelling as Francis Ngannou is, and they don't have that. So I always think of things, and this is how I did my own contract negotiation. Could I have made more money in my last negotiation somewhere else? Initially, yeah, I probably could have. But I got to think long-term, like not just the next 2 years. Where am I going to make the most money in the next 5 or the next 10? And I feel like that's maybe one of the, and again, I'm not trying to count Francis Ngannou's money. I don't know how his business works, but if I'm speculating, he probably initially is going to make more money somewhere else. But if you look down the long term, I mean, I can rattle off 6 or 7 guys off the top of my head that are compelling matchups for Francis Ngannou in the UFC. There's the Derek Lewis. If Derek Lewis went on a run and got a couple wins, I'd love to see that fight go again.
There's Jon Jones for one.
There's Jon Jones. There's a Ciryl Gane
Tom
rematch.
Aspinall down the line. Curtis Blades.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
Keep going. Ryan Bader is the Bellator heavyweight champion right now.
I love Bader, but that's not compelling to me. It's not compelling to me. I don't give a shit about that. I just
in boxing,
that's what I'm worried about. Like, he's going to get one big boxing fight, and after that, the new is going to wear off, and then we're going to see how good he actually is, and people are like, "Oh fuck, he's not that good."
I mean, because what's he going to do? I think, and by the way, I'm not. God bless him, and I hope it all works out for him. But I think it's maybe this Tyson Fury carrot that's been dangled in front of him, but it's not guaranteed. I mean, it's hard enough getting Tyson Fury at this stage of his career, being as wealthy as what he is, the monies that he's made, and the career that he's had. You know what I mean? He's talked about retirement and all kinds of things. So that fight isn't a guaranteed. And if it isn't guaranteed, I don't think there's anywhere else that's going to pay more money. Dana said, and he said they offered him a contract which would have made him the highest paid heavyweight fighter ever. Okay. But incidentally, it came out today that Jon Jones now has the second highest contract other than Conor McGregor. So congratulations to Jones for that. I know you'll probably feel differently about those words, but it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. For Ngannou, the highest paid heavyweight from what I understand, and according to an article I read from MMA Junkie, was Brock Lesnar. For Brock Lesnar for UFC 200, they said yesterday, I read, he got $8 million. And prior to that, he was earning in the region $2 to $3 million. So if they offered him a contract that was more valuable than that, that's a lot of money he just walked away from. So the only thing that I can think of that competes with that or could potentially generate more money would be a blockbuster heavyweight boxing fight against Tyson Fury. But that's not guaranteed to happen.
Even if it does, that's one. If you're gonna be the highest paid heavyweight, we'll just say it's 5, just for an easy number. Say they offered him $5 million, and then he's got the pay-per-view or whatever. And then say he makes 20 in the Tyson Fury fight. 20 one time, or $5 million every single time. Like, you don't have to be a mathematician.
That's a tough one. I might take the 21 time just because he always wanted to box. Apparently, always wanted to box, and he wanted to box a long time ago. His coach turned him into MMA because it was more likely to happen. So we can tick off that personal box and get that $20 million. And I guess MMA will always be there.
You could fight 3 times and make more than that 20, because you and I both know after he fights that one time in boxing, there's no more $20 million paychecks once they see him.
No. What are they going to do? I don't think Anthony Joshua was saying, I want Ngannou next. And I don't think
Deontay Wilder's not calling for him.
None of those guys are saying, ooh, we want him next. It would more than likely be a one-off occasion.
And that's the thing with boxing. Like, you have to win. And if you put those 3 up against Francis Ngannou, I don't know who else even, just take those 3 guys. Like, he loses to any of them, it's over with. The boxing thing is dead. At least the huge paychecks, the $20 million type paychecks, are gone. Now, if he was able to beat one of those guys, then that's a different story. But, maybe he's the bet on himself type of guy. I just don't see it happening.
And God bless him, because he clearly is a bet on himself type of guy, and I respect that. And I wish him, and I wish him all the best. I really do. But it sounds like we're both on the same page in terms of what he's going to achieve there. But hey, either way, because outside the UFC, what's he going to do? One FC. I don't think that's going to be the fit. They ain't going to have the kind of money. People, Bare Knuckle FC are talking about Francis fighting on Bare Knuckle FC. Well,
if it's not boxing, I hope it's bare knuckle.
Well, listen, who in their right mind is stepping into a ring or an octagon with Francis Ngannou with no gloves on? Do you know what I mean? That's a braver or / stupider man than me. I'm not signing up for that one. And I don't know. I know Bare Knuckle have some big money. They've paid a lot of people some very, very handsome money. I believe they offered you a pretty decent contract as well once upon a time. But I don't think they have Francis Ngannou more than the UFC style money. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm woefully in the wrong there. But I can't see it.
Yeah, it would be fun to watch though.
My God, whatever. What a terrifying prospect. Francis Ngannou
could just give him a one-off. Just one-off. Just let's do one.
Anybody, and Harrington and Brian, maybe you two jump in here as well. If there was one person, Francis Ngannou, a one-off in a bare-knuckle boxing fight, who would the opponent be? Someone that might stand a chance of winning.
Oh, easy.
Fedor.
Mike Perry.
Mike Perry. Mike Perry might just be crazy enough to do it. That's the thing about Mike Perry. Yeah.
Fedor versus Francis.
I would pay to see that.
That's the fight to make.
Yeah. Yeah. Last time Fedor was out, I think it was against Rampage, wasn't it? You see that when he flatlined Rampage?
Oh, Rampage would be pretty sweet too.
Rampage would be bloody sweet as well. I mean, it'd be a size disadvantage. I mean, Rampage is a big, heavy dude these days, but it's not the kind of he hasn't got the kind
of weight he probably wants.
It's not the kind of weight. There you go that he wants. Yeah. Anyway, well, listen. Best of luck to Francis. It's a shame. It's a shame to see him walk away, but that's his right, and I wish him nothing but the best going forward. So thank you for the memories. And
Francis Ngannou versus Nate Diaz.
Francis Ngannou versus Jake Paul's being thrown around.
Let's go.
Okay.
Deal.
All right. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that go down. Of course, with that happening, with the shakeup, we now have Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane for the undisputed heavyweight championship. And I think, to be fair, other than a Stipe Miocic, Stipe should probably have got the crack, but he didn't want to go just yet. So it's Ciryl versus Jon, March 4th. It's a tough one for Ciryl Gane, in my opinion. How do you see that fight?
You think it's? I think it's a pretty well-matched fight. I think that there's a lot of. I think there's more. I have more questions. Excuse me. I have more questions than like maybe well-oiled thoughts right now. To be honest with you, I'm so curious how Jon is he's gonna move, and how mobile and how athletic he's gonna still continue to be at heavyweight. I think Ciryl Gane is one of the tougher matchups for him in the entire division, and maybe the toughest matchup for him.
I don't know about that. That's where we have a difference of opinion. I hear what you're saying about the body type. For sure, there's going to be questions there. Will he still be as agile? Will he still be as quick? Will he still have the cardio to go 5 rounds and all the rest of it? Because now that's a real tax on his energy system. If he's got another 30, 40 pounds, or even if it's just 20 or 30 pounds, that's a real issue. Like, for example, much, much lower level down the totem pole, Callum, my son, he wrestled at 197. Now he's a growing boy. He's too big. Now he's wrestling at heavyweight. First couple of times it caught him out. He was like, "Oh my God, Dad!" He said, "I couldn't believe it." I was getting gassed, and the style what you wrestle in heavyweight is very different. So I've got things to learn and all the rest of it. So that's not the best comparison, but it is a worthy comparison.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when it comes to Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane, the reason I think it's, and listen, don't get me wrong, on the feet, Ciryl Gane is phenomenal. He's so dynamic. His footwork's phenomenal. His striking's amazing. Flying knees, beautiful jab. He has submissions as well if it hits the ground. Not that he's a black belt or anything, but he knows, he's got a few subs, got a couple of heel hooks, I believe. But, and hear me out on this, tell me what you think. If Francis Ngannou could take Ciryl down time and time again, and that's essentially the path to victory for him, then I would say that Jon Jones can. Because whilst Francis is a phenomenally strong athlete, ridiculously powerful, he's not a lifelong wrestler. Didn't wrestle in college or high school or any of that stuff. He's learned a bit of wrestling through mixed martial arts, kind of like I did. Jon Jones is a very, very good wrestler. He would take people down very easily, shoot, blast doubles, put them down and elbow the shit out of them. I'm just thinking that if Francis can do that, a 260-pound Jon Jones probably can as well.
Potentially. Looking back at kind of my fight with Jon, I remember being very concerned, leading up to it. Like, we got to be very mindful of the takedowns and stuff. He's very, very tough on the fence. He's like in the clinch and he'll drop down to doubles really, really quickly. Even watching him wrestle DC, I didn't feel that in my fight with him. I think he shot 10 takedowns. I think he got 2. So, I wonder if the Ciryl Gane takedown issue in the Francis Ngannou fight was more surprise and shock than maybe outright just being out wrestled. I just don't think he expected it, because I don't think any of us did.
Valid. No.
So I think
nobody expected Francis Ngannou to be wrestling.
Right. I think there's something there. But I think that some of the physical advantages and the way that Jon fights or has previously fought at 205 pounds, a lot of that stuff is gone at heavyweight. He's very long. Doesn't necessarily use his arm reach as well as maybe he probably could. That's more of a style thing. It's not that I don't think he can. He just likes to fight in a different way. His movement, his stance switches, his mobility, the amount of distance that he's able to cover in a short amount of time. I think all of those advantages that he has over 205 pounders is gone with a guy like Ciryl Gane. So what I think is going to happen is it's going to force Jon to have to be super technical. He's going to have to be technically superior in all areas. When I think at times he's gotten away with, and I don't want to say he's gotten away with, but it's the best way to say it. He's gotten away with maybe not always having the technical advantage in some areas because he uses his body so well and as coachable as he is. I think they keep him out of some of these certain spots. He very much boxes you into where he needs to keep you. And I think he's going to be forced to be technically better everywhere because he won't enjoy the physical advantages and his God-given gifts that he's taken fantastic advantage of. So I think Ciryl Gane fights the way that Jon fights on his feet, but he's been doing it his whole life at that same size. So I'm curious if Jon, if he moves right into being a heavyweight, moves the same, and he's going to slow down. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be a little bit slower.
It's going to be interesting.
Differently, and if he
because
does that,
Ciryl Gane, he can. I mean, the striking's phenomenal. Knocked out Derek Lewis, knocked out Taito Avasa, many others. They're the two most recent ones. So it is going to be, because he's not going to be able to bully people either. Jon, not that I'm saying bullied you or whatever, but he's natural gifts.
He did a little bit on the fence
and long.
He did bully me a little bit on the fence.
Well, I wasn't saying that. I can't recall the fight, if I'm honest. It was a long time ago. So many fights since. Obviously, you'll remember blow by blow.
Space, I think Jon is going to have a tough time with Ciryl Gane. Like, I just couldn't quite get to Jon. I just couldn't quite reach him. I don't move or fight the way that Ciryl Gane fights. I don't dart in like that. So Jon was just always outside of range. I just couldn't quite reach him. It was so frustrating. But Ciryl Gane will be able to. He's
for sure.
Mobile. He's faster. He's longer. He's big. I mean, Ciryl Gane is huge. I mean, if we could go back and just take a look at the face-off picture of him and Francis Ngannou in the center of the octagon that night, he was bigger than Francis. And when we had him at the desk in Paris, and he was next to me, I could not believe how big he dwarfed me. We looked way more than just one weight class apart. He was huge.
And that's the thing as well, because he's naturally at that weight. See, now granted, Jon, you cut down from a lot of light heavyweights could fight at heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like a Daniel Cormier, like a Rampage Jackson, who we mentioned before, and certainly a Jon Jones. If you don't cut weight like you now, you're 220. Yeah, there he is. I mean, Ciryl does look, he's a big boy. He's big boy. He's very powerful, but he's so used to just carrying that around. And it's going to be so injured. And I guess we won't know. And that's what makes this fight so captivating, because he has been away for 3 years. Will there be ring rust? Will there be demons? Will he be rusty? Now, of course, he's been sparring a lot. So physically, he won't be rusty, but mentally, and he's getting older. And this is a new breed of heavyweight as well. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very, very exciting.